Today, I figure I'd give you guys a ranking of the Dollars trilogy, also known as the Man with No Name trilogy. This is a series of films that started in the 1960s, and it pretty much is the film that made Clint Eastwood a household name. These films are great. They're the definitive badass Italian Western films, and to me, they're the greatest series of Westerns ever made. And in this trilogy of films is included my actual absolute favorite Western of all time. So without further ado, I figure I get started. Starting with 1964's A Fistful of Dollars. This is an amazing film directed by Sergio Leone and Ennio Morricone doing the soundtrack. This is just a great film with magnificent action, cool acting, a great sense of style, amazing direction, and an awesome performance by Clint Eastwood as the Man with No Name. Although technically that's not entirely true. He is called Joe in this movie, but I don't know if that's officially supposed to be his real name or if they just call him that. It is a rather fun film in the sense that it has a lot of action and violence and double crossing. Essentially, Clint Eastwood plays the Man with No Name, and he goes into town and he pits these two groups of bandits against each other, all in pursuit of money. Hence the name. He's a badass bounty hunter, and he takes no prisoners. This is an awesome movie, and the first in an amazing trilogy of films. Coming in at number 2 is 1965's For a Few Dollars More, the sequel to A Fistful of Dollars. This film also stars Lee Van Cleef as a bounty hunter as well, and Clint Eastwood returning from his role from the first film. This one is better acted than the first, has a little more going on, kind of a bigger scale movie, and a lot of the actors from the first movie actually return. That's something interesting about this film series is many of the actors actually play different parts in each movie. Like, for instance, Lee Van Cleef is something of a good guy in this movie, but in the third film, he plays the villain. And that's kind of the same thing for the villain of this film, but also played the villain in the first film. They just basically use the same actors, but in different parts for each movie, with the exception of Clint, who plays the same character in each movie. This is a great continuation of the series, and ups the ante, ups the stakes, and ups the dollar amount, hence the title of the movie. This is an absolute great film, released in 1965. It's the second in the Dollars trilogy, and my second favorite of the Dollars trilogy. But my absolute favorite, coming in at number 1, and my favorite Western of all time, 1966's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This film is phenomenal. It's also available on Blu-ray and 4K, and I actually do have the recent release 4K, but I kind of like this cover a little more. This is my favorite Western film ever made. It has magnificent action, great music, probably my favorite soundtrack in any movie ever, and I'm not even kidding. Ennio Morricone brings his A game this time around and delivers what I can describe as just the most powerful and captivating soundtrack ever. If you like music or movies in general, you will love the score to this film. This film also has Eli Wallach playing Tuco, a Mexican bandit, and he is probably the best character in this movie. He steals the show, and he plays the ugly. Lee Van Cleef, this time around, plays the bad, and our man Clint Eastwood plays the good, also known as Blondie this time around, and the villain is known as Angel Eyes. This is an amazing film that's set during the Civil War. It has these three guys going against each other in the pursuit of a large sum of gold buried in a cemetery. It all culminates in an amazing three-way pistol duel. I gotta give away the whole movie, but I just highly recommend it. If you like cinema, if you like good filmmaking, if you like good action, or if you just like Clint Eastwood, you gotta see this damn movie. It's one of the best films ever made, and an absolute 10 out of 10, in my opinion. I love this film. And this is actually what's interesting about this DVD version. I do actually recommend finding this if you can, because this is the only one version out there besides the VHS that actually includes the American theatrical cut, which actually cuts out some of the footage from the Italian theatrical version. I know that sounds like a detriment, but I kind of prefer this version better. I think it flows better than the extended version. That's pretty much the only one available now. I still like the extended version, but some of those scenes do feel like they kind of slow things down a bit. But this is rather an enjoyable and badass version, and it's the one that I actually recommend if you can find it. But if you can't find it, the 4K Blu-ray, 4K or Blu-ray is still really awesome. Look at Clint Eastwood there. Look at his face. Yeah, a magnificent film through and through. I recommend it to anyone who loves westerns or action, and anyone who wants to have a great time and feel just awesome. Check out this movie. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the best films ever made, and is the best film in the Dollars trilogy. Well, that's my ranking and my list. Let me know your list down below if you'd like. And what's interesting about this film series is it's one of the very few where the films got better and better. I can't really think of any other trilogy that did that. Whereas the first film was the weakest, second is the second strongest, and the best is the third. But it is my favorite Western series of all time, and includes my favorite Western of all time. The Man with No Name trilogy or the Dollars trilogy. Check it out. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and peace out.